already here. We're with the IT professional who makes $1.6 million a month, Boyd Clewis. So we're going to talk about what he does to help IT professionals and really his IT career, and then what he did when he got into consulting, which is where his business is at now. So what's happening, dude? So would love to hear first just a story and kind of what your story is in the series of events that led you to eventually getting in IT and then also consulting. And we'll probably pause and kind of go on some tangents as we go through this, but let's start it from the top.
From the top, storytelling is one of the things that I do. So I had a very interesting, non-traditional path to getting into IT in 2010. Got to take you way back to 2010. I was actually working in accounting. So I was working in accounting for this large copier company, and they had maintenance contracts that they provided for these big copiers. And my job was to make sure that the billing was actually accurate or fix it if it wasn't. Anyway, while I was working there, I was living in Dallas. IT support was actually in New Jersey. And so anytime somebody's computer would break, they would literally have to ship the computers to New Jersey, which means the people weren't working and I had to pick up their work. And I'm like, no, not at all. I'm not doing that work. So I figured that I would figure out how to fix the computers myself so that I wouldn't have to be consuming other people's work. So through Google and reading some manuals, I figured out a few things about IT, and that was actually my first step into it. And so I was at the company. I was there for around 3 years or so, and they ended up laying off everybody because they moved operations from Dallas over to California. And so I took that time to sort of reinvent myself and make the transition into IT. And that's how I got started.
I'm just curious. So you kind of just saw a problem and you found, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to learn some skills. And I'm going to go fix it. So you weren't this original techie person.
No, not at all.
That's it. Because one of the things I think about when I think about what you do is I'm like, oh, well, I don't code. I don't do software. I don't do any of this. So therefore I can't do it. So really you just kind of learned a few skills and then solved the problem that you saw was an obvious problem in the market.
Exactly. I mean, it really came down to, initially the way I thought about it, I was being lazy because I was like, well, I'm not about to do all these other people's work. But it was really just, I saw something was being done in an inefficient manner. And so I figured I could improve on the process, and that ultimately set me up for success.
So then tell us about getting into IT, starting that, and the career.
Cool. So once, after the layoff, so I was laid off for about 6 months. During that time, I really built my own curriculum because, man, I was broke. The job that I was laid off of, they were paying me like $13 an hour. So I went from $13 an hour to unemployed and studying, got my first IT job, working on the help desk. And believe it or not, man, I found the job on Craigslist. There was this junior network technician position that was available. And so I interviewed with the people, and they knew that I was really green, but they liked my attitude. And they're like, man, we'll be able to teach you everything that you need to know to be successful. And it was for this small company here in Dallas that was an MSP, which is a managed service provider. And they had 40 different clients that we provided IT outsourcing for. So I got to work on a whole bunch of different types of industries like auto dealers, banking, medical. And I did that for about 1.5 years. But in that short time, because I was doing so much, my experience and everything just really blossomed because I was taking it all in. I wasn't just doing the work. I was trying to understand the why behind it as well as the business processes, because I was seeing what was going on. I was like, I'm doing this work. I could probably start a company like this one day.
That's sick. So, and honestly, it parallels to my experience a lot too. When I got into sales, I started learning about this coaching industry. Then I started, I sold realtors at first. I sold insurance agents, sold financial advisors, sold recruiting. I sold tech. I didn't sell tech, but I sold tech companies. Then I sold agencies. And then after that, I sold coaches. And so it's like, and within itself was a huge business education even for me. So it's like, I feel parallels in that experience. So how did you go from that to starting essentially your own IT company, is from what I'm hearing?
It was actually interesting, man. So I was like, I see this MSP thing, so I can probably do this myself. So I worked for the company for about a year and a half, and I was like, I got this. So I started my own company, and it was called Autex Solutions, and Autex stood for Awesome Techs. And we did good, man, for about 30 days, but then it flopped. Because and look, if y'all are out here listening and you think that you can do a better job than your boss, you need to understand one thing. Just because you're good at a job doesn't mean you're good at sales, marketing, accounting. So those are things that I did not consider because I was one-sided. I was just thinking about the fulfillment. So it didn't work out well. So I ended up, fortunately, while I was drowning in that company, a software company called me and they were like, hey, we need somebody that can work the second shift. So they were looking for somebody to work 5 p.m. to 1 p.m. And since I still had clients I had to support, it was perfect because I was outside of working hours. So I ended up running my company and working for this software company for about a year until my company was just completely gone. And so when I was working for this software company, they had these local government contracts building software for like court systems. If you ever got like one of those tickets in the mail because you ran a red light, it was that company. And so it was a really cool opportunity. And that's when I actually got my first introduction into cybersecurity, again, because I was looking at problems. We didn't have any IT security people at all. And I was reading this article that was talking about where security was going to go, because this is, at this time, it's 2012, 2013. Yeah, where security was going to go. And so I wanted to put myself in best position. So I started researching different trainings and things, and I brokered a deal with the company because I'm a pretty fast learner. I told them, if you guys will pay for the certifications, I will do all the training and everything on my own. So they agreed to that deal, and I was able to accumulate some certifications and training that through the training that I created for myself. And that's what helped me continue to advance my career to ultimately becoming the senior security architect at American Airlines. And that's where I got the experience to actually start the business that I run right now. So being the architect at American Airlines, my focus was credit card data security. And so I would fly around the world to the different airports and offices and making sure that the people at the local offices were following the security standards, as well as the security standards around AA.com, AA vacations, those type of things. And that experience and the network, the connections that I made from that opportunity, it set me up for life.
Right. In what way? So what was next?
So the reason that how that set me up for life is, this is really, really important, man. It's just so important to do good work and not burn bridges, because I work in this small niche of IT, which is cybersecurity and then payment security. And so I was at this conference that's focused on credit card data security that's put on by the governing body, which is called the PCI Council, which stands for Payment Card Industry. That's the company that creates the standards. And this guy walks up to me. He was like, "You're Boyd Clewis, right?" I was like, "Yeah, who are you?" And he says, "My name's Rob. Man, I've heard great things about you." And he's like, "You should come work for me." I'm like, why would I do that? So he explains the opportunity. He has this consulting firm that he runs, and they actually perform audits on companies to make sure that they're in compliance with the credit card data security standard. And it was something that I was used to, but I hadn't done it myself. And so I took him up on the opportunity. And at that point, when I was at American Airlines, I was making like $150K. And when they brought me onto the consulting firm, not only did I increase my income, but that gave me the opportunity to increase my network even more. So they brought me on and I was making around $200K a year, but I was working like for some of the biggest names in the world. Like, I can't even say these names, but like the largest retailer in the world, some of the most high-end fashion brands, providing them insight and advice on what they can do to improve security for their customers. And so my name just continued to grow in the payment security space.
Interesting. That's sick. So then at what point did this become your own business, the cybersecurity stuff?
So this is where it got interesting. So because companies have to comply with this credit card data security standard, where they'll be fined millions of dollars, right? So you got to think about big retail companies. Like for example, I can name drop because this is public knowledge, but Target had this breach back in 2014. They lost like 40 million credit cards, and they got fined somewhere of $300 million because of the breach. And because of that, other companies start catching on like, holy crap, we got to make sure we're compliant or we stand to lose that. So the company I was working at, we were overwhelmed with assessments, man. I was running 6 and 7 assessments at a time, and I was managing 5 guys, but I needed 2 more people on the team. So I had these 2 job recs that were paying $150,000 salaries plus bonuses. So it had been, $215K on track earnings. And I could not find a single person qualified to fill the role. And I started having conversations with other people in the industry, to other firms. They were running into the same issue. And so again, I have a history of solving problems. So I was like, if I can't find the people, I'm going to create them. And so that's how I ended up starting the training academy and the consulting firm, because I used the consulting firm as a way to make sure that all of my clients had hands-on experience, because they would work with me on the security assessments.
Right. So I know we met through Joel Way. So how did you kind of go from where you just left off to eventually the point where you nailed the power offer, as we call it?
This right here is funny. So what I did was, while I was still working at the other company as a security consultant, me and my wife, we started Baxtor Clewis Cybersecurity, and I was running that at night. And I realized, man, the internet can be a crazy place, because like I have this non-traditional way to help IT people make more money than they could ever imagine without need certifications or college degrees or anything, by specializing in this payment security framework. And I'm trying to figure out these ads and put this stuff out on the internet, and I am getting trolled like you would not believe. It's a scam. It's a scam. And nobody is buying it. And at this point, I'm selling my course for like $500, and I can't give it away for free. I cannot give it away for free. Nobody believes me. The message is not right. And so I was on Instagram one day, and I see this ad. It's like 2x your course for free. And it was Joel Orway. I was like, free? I'm already not making any money. So, we 2x this thing, we'll figure something out. So I went through his free course, and then I actually started getting some traction. And so that's when I decided to actually hire him and his team to completely rewrite my offers, because my offers were not correct. They weren't connecting with the audience, because it was just, I am naturally not a marketer. I'm a sales guy, but not a marketer, right? So once we redid that, the traffic started rolling in, and then I was overwhelmed. So I did something that people said I was crazy for, but it worked because it got me out of my day job. I went to the Philippines, and I got some VAs, and I taught them high ticket sales.
Oh man, great.
So I literally had them. At that time, my offer for my course and the coaching, it was $5K. And so I had these guys selling, and they did well. Their conversions were trash, but they were bringing the cash, because my leads, it wasn't costing me a lot of money from a marketing standpoint. So it worked out. But once I started looking at the opportunity of what I could have been making, I was like, something has to change. Something has to change. So I was talking to Joel. I was doing a podcast with him, and he was like, hey man, what's your biggest challenge right now? I was like, I need like people that can sell, because I don't have the time to be on the calls, because I still have my day job. And that's when he mentioned you. And I was like, this ought to be a really good opportunity. And so I reached out to you. It ended up having a call with Mitchell. And that's when my life changed, man.
There it is, man. What happened after that?
So like it's oh gosh, this is good right here. Another nugget for people listening. You got to surround yourself with people that are doing better than you, and you can't be intimidated. So at this point, when I set up the call with Mitchell, our business was doing 40K a month, which I thought that was really good for me, man. We got these VAs that are selling, we're doing 40K a month, and it's only like I got 5 or 6 people working for the company. It was me, my wife, and the VAs. So I'm like, this is pretty good. So Mitchell asked me what my goal was, because during our consult, and I was like, man, I want to get to the point where I'm making 100K a month. And he looks at me, he's basically like, as it. I was like, so I thought about it, you can either be insulted or inspired. And I was inspired because I was like, that's it. Like, what do you mean by that? And so he was like, man, we got people that are doing 300, 400, 500. I was like, sign me up. Because like, I want to be around people like that. And I signed up. I had no doubt about it that I was going to do. Heck, and within like 90 days, we hit 100K in a month. And then 12 months from that, we hit our first $1 million month. So it was just like the things that are happening inside of our company and working with you, nobody would believe, man. So I don't even talk about this stuff because nobody would believe.
Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy, man. I remember when Joel sent you our way, I remember getting a DM and he was like, this guy has one of the best funnels I've ever, like, he's like, this thing is insane. And he's like, it works so well. He just literally needs sales guys. And so that was the big missing key. So now with your business, how does it work? So obviously you run an ad, goes to a video, books a call, and then your sales guys handle it from there. Once they get in the program, what actually happens?
So, first of all, man, crazy, believe it or not, I have the exact same BSL running since 2020. Same exact one. It's crazy. So, on the fulfillment side, what happens is all of our clients, they set up an onboarding call with their success advisor. So all of our clients are given a success advisor that help them map out their milestones that make sure that they actually reach the end of the program. Because graduation and at Baxter Clewis is actually you landing a new role. It's not completing the course, because completion means nothing. And so the way we have it set up, I built out the online training portal, and it's broken out into semesters, if you will. So it's freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, then internship. So our clients move through the learning modules, which we actually start with mindset training. We got a mindset coach. My mindset coach and sales manager is my brother. Next level. Because like, just like things are happening in my business right now that people wouldn't believe, like my mind had to be challenged and my belief system had to be shifted to even think that I could be making $1 million in a year, let alone $1 million in a month. And so we help IT guys upgrade their jobs and become 6-figure cybersecurity specialists. And some of them have been chasing this 6-figure goal for like years and acquiring every certification possible. And I'm telling them, I can show you that you can get to this 6-figure income in 90 days without any of that. So it takes a huge belief system shift. So we go through the mindset training is what we do actually throughout all of the program, but we start off with something that I trademarked, which is called the authority mindset. So we literally have this process where we take the guys through this transition where they become self-aware of how they've been self-sabotaging themselves their entire life, not just with their career, but with everything. And then we systematically break those beliefs throughout the program while training them on this payment security standard. So we got hands-on exercises where guys are messing with firewalls and credit card databases and all that stuff. And we do a live Q&A call, coaching call with me and my team once a week. We have a live community where, man, the community is live. We got like, I don't know, 800 people in there right now, man, sharing wins, giving inspiration, teaching each other, because you learn by teaching, right? So we have all that going on in there. And once the students complete the online portion of the program, they transition to the internship where they actually work with me and provide security services to the clients of Baxter Clewis. And the cool thing about what we do is, since they're working with us, they get to use our name as cybersecurity consultant at Baxter Clewis, and we actually verify their employment and give them a job reference when they land a new job. And so one of the things that we do is pretty unique. I created something that's called the reverse application system. So I came up with this this formula, if you will, this framework to use on your resume, LinkedIn, and Dice.com that automatically attracts these high-paying jobs for our clients, and they never have to apply. Never have to apply. So that's one of the main pain points that most of our clients have, is getting these certifications and then submitting hundreds of applications and never hearing anything back. So we actually give them the negotiation power because the companies are like running them down because they got this specialized deal. And so that's how they're able to walk into these positions, getting paid more than other people because they're being sought after. And that's the authority mindset. It's to be in the position to receive that. Like, these people are really after me. I didn't have to apply. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, so how do they, wait, so I get the it flips the script, right? How does that work again though? I might have missed it, but like, so how are they setting themselves up to the companies are reaching out to them?
Yeah, so in my reverse application system, it's all about marketing and branding. So what we're doing is we're taking the same concepts from business and translating them over to the career, because everybody should treat their career like it's a business. Employers are not jobs, they're clients. And so you market, you brand yourself on LinkedIn, share thought leadership. Then when it's time for opportunities to come out, we even have like a process where you can go out and hunt, just like a setter would go and set appointments if you're looking for new clients. So we took the same philosophy from business and applied it to getting new jobs and contracts.
That's epic, man. So how much can they make depending on how many contracts they get?
Man, the sky's really the limit. It was really cool yesterday. We had one of our star freaking clients. Her name is Patience. This is crazy, right? Patience is an immigrant. She's only been in the U.S. for 3 years. She came from Cameroon. She joined our program April of 2021. And she landed a job within, within 4 months or so. But she's on track to make $300 a year.
It's so funny that we matched up, because not only obviously can we help with the sales guys, but the other aspect of things is like your business model reminds me so much of my business, to where, you know, we go after people who, let's say interest rates are rising, real estate's not working out anymore, they'll maybe only make a $50K a year. They get into selling alternative education and coaching for somebody like you, then they're making $200,000. So it's like your clients have kind of the same journey, to where they're doing IT, but they're in the wrong opportunity. And then they switch, and then all of a sudden it's like, bam, it's like rocket fuel.
Yeah, exactly. And so like the money is cool, but what gets me is the stories, because like money can do so much for a family. You know, people buying their first homes, being able to help their parents retire, being able to give more. It's just like those things. That's why me and my wife do this, man. We've heard some powerful success stories, and it's important to hold on to those things, because again, the hate on the internet, you cannot be successful. You cannot be good at anything without people having something negative to say.
No, 100%. How do you and your wife work together, and how do you divvy the responsibilities?
So first of all, for like the first 6 months, I told her like at least once a week I wanted to fire her. And she was like, how you going to fire me? I'm the president. I'm like, dang. You got a point. But my wife, she is a CPA, former fraud investigator for like Big Four accounting, forensic accountant. So she runs the books and operations, because that's her thing. She's very structured, detailed, and like she's a genius. She's a freaking genius. So I handle the sales, the marketing, and the sales marketing. So she handles the finances and the operations, and she manages the fulfillment team.
Right. I mean, you probably do the product too, obviously.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
What's keeping you from getting to $3 million a month?
Me. So we're actually resolving that right now. And what you taught us at the last mastermind, dude, it's been hard to sleep since then, man. Like the systems and everything. So we've hit the numbers that we've hit without using setters at all. And once we went back and looked at how many leads were untouched and people that submitted applications that never scheduled calls, like we could easily 2 to 3x what we're doing right now, just because like significant volume.
You don't have setters?
I didn't. So we brought some on this month, and they're going to start. They're going through training right now, but they're going to start the first week of January. But no, we have not had setters.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, this is pretty easy for you because I'd imagine what's your return on ad spend still?
Yeah, 30.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, ridiculous, right? How many
Yep.
sales guys?
6.
Okay. So, and then, so how many units per month does each salesperson do?
So each person usually does like around 30 units, something like that.
Okay. So they're producing about 400 grand a month per. So to get to, this is how I actually like to think about it. To get to 3 million a month, you would need, what would that be? You need about 8 reps. And so all you need to do is scale to 8 reps, focus on the sales team, spend more on ads, and then have all the setters just call the opt-ins. That's literally, I mean, dude, this has been the easiest one I've ever done. I mean, that's literally it. If you do those 3 things, that's it.
You know what? And I've done that. I've done that. And what I mean by that is, thanks to your great team, I've hired 5 reps that are starting the first week of January. So that's actually going to put us at a total of 8.
Oh, okay. So perfect. So and then you got to really double down on the sales management. And even, I don't know if you have a sales manager or not, but I think with how big the opportunity is, like I would honestly just train them myself, because like if that's really the only thing that's keeping you from being a double, you might as well just invest your time in doing it. And so I would personally invest all my energy into growing that sales team, getting all of those people at 30 to 40 units a month, all 8 of them, making sure they're just absolute savages. Okay, you got to cut a few, bring a few more on, that's fine. And then, slowly build out the setter team, which is, going to get you more leads from the same amount of ad spend. Well, that's really not even your constraint because your return is so good. And so that would be the number one thing. Do you have a back end?
We have not had a back end. So everything has been straight front end.
Yeah. So what you need to do, the second thing you need to do is launch. I mean, this is probably stuff you already know, right? I'm just going to tell you something you already know. Is launch a 30 to 50K back end that is live events and more intimate community and more about how to get from 100K a year to multiple 6 figures a year. Done.
Yep.
And what I would do is you can even have the main program at 10 virtually, and then there's certain content that they'll get access to, and then that acts as your natural CTA to the thing. That's what we do, because we have 9,800, and then we have our back end, and that's where our higher level sales reps and sales leaders are, and they can go right to the back end, but we'll pluck the best ones out. Everybody attends virtually, and then events we hold live just for the back end. I mean, if you did that and you got a 20% conversion, let's say on, let's say you got a 25% conversion on double the price of your front end, which would be a good way to start. So let's say the front end's 15K, you do this at 30K, that would give you alone from here a 50% increase in revenue. So that would be 1.5 million a month. What's 50%? 750. So that would put you at 225. All that back end would go to profit. So I mean, That's pretty insane, right? So that puts you at 225. Then you can hit 3 million a month with 6 sales reps. Now, each sales reps at the same volume and the same back end conversions percentage will probably put you at 3.5. Sheesh. 3.5 mil a month. And then 8 sales reps, add in the setters, keep the funnel. Don't change anything about the funnel. The funnel's crushing. Just spend more. Don't get banned on Facebook. At this point, I would also probably try to get 10% of your spend onto YouTube as a hedge.
Oh man, our YouTube is crushing it, man. That's where our most qualified leads are coming from. So the YouTube ads and my YouTube channel has been growing organically. So last month I booked 148 organic calls just off YouTube.
Yeah, but YouTube ads.
Yep.
Yeah. So because I thought you said organically.
Both.
So that way, if your Facebook goes down, you have the YouTube, you can just keep filling the calendars. But dude, 8 sales guys, back end, setters, mastermind, 3.5 mil a month.
Yeah.
Well, and to be honest, and to be honest, if you got the conversion to 35% front and the back end, and then you also maybe did a little price increase, and maybe you added one or two more sales guys, you'd probably be at 50 million a year.
Yeah, that's our 3-year plan, man.
Well, that's like
It,
next year plan. They should make that next year.
it's
I'm
so
serious.
crazy, man. It's just some of the
Yeah.
stuff is still hard to believe.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it's the mindset, man. You got to break through it. But that's
Yep.
basically it. I mean, that was about the easiest problem I ever had to solve. Yeah, you have a huge opportunity you shouldn't be really doing double what you're doing. You really should be. And you could be there very fast. A lot of it's because that front end marketing campaign is so good.
Yep.
You know, most people don't have that. 30x. I mean, dude, like, I don't have that. So spend more, like what I told you previously, and I would just focus. You could, because there's some B2B stuff you could do. There's some other stuff you could do, but man, like licensing, but you don't even need to. And I mean, at 50 million a year, you can be rolling at 25% profit. I mean, you could be looking at a 200 to 400 million exit if it gets unbranded out of your face.
Yep. So there's another division that we stood up that's actually doing pretty well too. So we've established partnerships with those consulting firms like I used to work with, and now providing the placement, well, the staffing opportunity. So we get paid on placements, 20 to 25%.
Yes, I mean, there you go. That's more back end.
Yep.
What's in there? Where can people find you? Because this is, I mean, I feel like we just solved it, dude. You need to go start making money.
Man, BoydClewis.com, BaxterClewis.com. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm very visible. And shameless plug. So I got this book coming out in June with Forbes, and it's called Through the Firewall, The Alchemy of Turning Crisis into Opportunity. So it talks about my journey into cybersecurity of business, loss of a child, being arrested, fell out of college, you know, all the interesting stuff that comes along with the journey. But there's some really good nuggets in there of how to overcome tragedy and spin it into your favor.
I love it, man. Thanks for coming on.